Hello everybody, it's nice to see you again tonight. We're looking at SBE stock again. Of course, tonight we're looking at why Chargepoint stock could potentially be a great buy for the future, why it could even 2 to 3 times in the next few years. Now, a few important things to note before we do begin. One, I am not a financial advisor. This video is not financial advice, it's solely my opinion. You could disagree with some of the things that I'm going to say, and that is absolutely fine, but I'm just going to be sharing what I think is going to be the case. Another thing is, of course, this video is based on the long-term perspective. We are not looking at what's going to happen in the next week, what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. I mean, we are going to factor that in, but that is not the main topic. If you are looking at this one, I do consider it to be a long-term growth stock, and that is what we definitely intend to look at tonight. So of course, yeah, we're looking at some of the great reasons why this stock could explode in value in the next few years. And of course, if that does sound like a great plan for an episode, do show us by smashing that like button and also pressing the subscribe. We have just gone up to 1,940. It's absolutely amazing. We are going to hit, 2,000 before Christmas probably, so thank you for all of that support. But yeah, tonight we're going to be looking at why this is a great potential buy. So we're going to start off by quickly analysing the stock's price, and you guys already know the hype, so let's just move it out to the 6-month chart before we do anything else. We can really see, from the date that the merger was announced and whatnot, the stock price has inflated quite a lot. Now, on the past, 1 month, we are actually seeing a decrease in the share's price. We hit all-time highs this month, I do believe. This was up at $43, and you know what? For once, and I do say this a lot with some stocks, I say I'm disappointed to see the stock price go down, but with this one, I'm actually very, very happy to see the stock price go down, because this is one of those companies where I think the stock price is not overvalued, but I do think it has moved too quickly, in the sense that eventually the stock price should be at $40, $50, even $100, but right now I think that $40 price point was a bit too high. So absolutely, I do see this as a great opportunity to buy more, in my personal opinion, because we have seen the price decrease over the past week. Now, of course, looking at that past week's activity, it has been some very volatile movement. As you can see, it's been shooting all over the place. However, the general direction towards the end of the week was unfortunately down. So we hit highs in the week of about $43, like I said, and from there we bounced down about 12% to hit our end of the week at $37.91. So of course, not a bad thing at all with this company. Long term, yes, it's a grower in my opinion, and that is why I'm not too worried. Of course, once the merger does go through, we'll definitely be flying from that point, I do believe. We may see a decrease once the actual merger has gone through, the next few days afterwards, but I do think that overall we are going to see some growth in that period as the stock price will start to find its comfortable point in the market where it does belong. Spoiler alert, I do believe that point is a lot higher than what we are at now, simply due to a few of the reasons which I'm about to talk about in this video. So of course, the first thing that I need to talk about is what the company does, Chargepoint that is. Of course, Chargepoint, they provide electric vehicle charging, and honestly, Chargepoint chargers are all over the place. I was just out the other day minding my own business, and I just see an electric vehicle charger. I thought, you know what, I've got to walk up to it and see what brand it is. Nevertheless, it was Chargepoint. So it just goes to show how widespread these are. They're in a lot of countries around the world, and I think this is definitely an advantage which they have over a lot of competitors which do choose to stick to America. So of course, taking this international is definitely a great move in my opinion, as they will catch a lot more market share. So of course, a significant thing to go off regarding that, something just dropped, don't worry about that. But yeah, a significant thing to consider is obviously the amount of vehicles which are needing charging at the minute, and how this demand is set to increase in the future. So of course, as we do know, there are not a lot of electric vehicles sold. We're going to have a quick look at this graph for the United Kingdom. Of course, you could definitely have a graph for your own country if you did want to Google that, but because I'm in the United Kingdom, we are going to have a look at this. So electric vehicles being sold on the graph were definitely in the minority. There was about 8% of electric vehicles, 9% in total of electric vehicles. These are hybrids or plug-in hybrids, and also fully electric vehicles in this percentage. But the overall takeaway from this is not a lot of electric vehicles were sold. Less than 10% of vehicles sold in the UK in July of 2020 were electric. Now, if we do have a quick look at the majority of the circle, it's obviously dominated by petrol at about 60% of market share, and diesel comes in next at 16.5%. We also have mild hybrids, but these do not necessarily need charging, as they can also charge themselves. But it is important to note, not a lot of electric cars have been sold. Now, yes, there are quite a decent amount of electric cars, so please don't get me wrong, but when we do compare this to petrol, diesel, there are not a lot of electric cars at all. I think this is quite significant because obviously a lot of these vehicles are going to become electric in the future, as there are, increasing climate worries about people driving diesel, especially diesel, but also petrol. And I think with people switching to electric, all of these vehicles will need charging. If we do look at how much petrol station companies are worth, or diesel companies, obviously their value is huge, as everybody who owns a vehicle needs to use them. Now, of course, Chargepoint could buy into this market in the same way, in the sense that no longer will it be petrol on diesel, it will be, electricity instead. So, of course, having Chargepoint chargers all over the place could really be an advantage, especially if they get that infrastructure in there right now, because, like I said, not a lot of electric vehicles are being sold right now, but in the next 10 years, next 15 years especially, we do intend to see that increase significantly. This means that there is a great opportunity for this company to catch a lot of revenue in the future, and I think if they do manage to get that, it could be amazing for them, and that is why I think this stock could shoot up in the future. So I think it's important now to look at what market sector they have now, what market share they have now, and compare that to what we might see in the future. So for that, I have brought up this graph. This is about the amount of charging stations for electric vehicles at the minute, and we can see how this one works. EVgo network is apparently the biggest. Chargepoint is the third or fourth biggest on there, so it's the third biggest company, as the larger sector is actually unknown. So we can see that Chargepoint is just behind Tesla by only 2 or 3%, and that is great to see. Now, of course, the big thing about Chargepoint that they are pushing at the minute is they apparently intend to expand their amount of chargers by 50 times in 2025. So apparently in 2025 we'll have 50 times more Chargepoint chargers than we already have now. Of course, that's a great move in my opinion, because of course it will allow their supply to keep up with the demand, which is anticipated to grow in the future. Now, for that reason, I do believe they could set themselves up, in the next few years for the long-term future, next 20 to 30 years. Their Chargepoint chargers, if they set them up appropriately in the next 5 years, could, really get them some revenue, as a lot of other companies aren't as prepared as they are. Of course, like I said, the widespread nature of the chargers, with them being everywhere, is also another great reason why this is potentially a great company to buy into, and for that reason I do see this one as being a long-term buy. So when we're talking about this company, the market share right now is already quite decent in comparison to some of the other competitors. I think it's important to note that a lot of the Tesla chargers are, used for people who own Tesla cars, and of course Tesla cars are one of the most, if not the most popular type of electric vehicle right now. But like I always say when we talk about Tesla on the channel, in the future there are going to be other options. Just look at the new Porsche Taycan that has come out, and I think that's a lot better than a Tesla in my opinion. If you asked me for a free car, if you said you can have any free car and you've got your choice between your Tesla Model S and your Porsche Taycan, I would definitely choose a Porsche every single day. And I think a lot of people will be thinking like that, as a lot of brands do become electric, and I think for that reason Tesla's chargers won't be the most popular in the future, as when a lot more of the car brands do become diversified, Tesla's specific niche product won't be as popular. So for that reason, a generic charger like Chargepoint could definitely take a lot more market share than Tesla in the future, and I do believe that will be the case. Of course, that is generally speaking for home chargers as well. A lot of people do own home chargers for Teslas, and I think Chargepoint will definitely come up with a solution for that in the future. But even in public, I think Chargepoint will definitely take the advantage of Tesla in the future, as there are not too many Tesla superchargers around. So yes, where was I? Moving on to the long-term target for this one. I definitely can see this one being over $100, if not over $1,000 in the next 10 years. I can see this one as having potential to be one of the big players in its industry in the next few years, because like I always say about this electric vehicle industry, it's not very well established. I mean, yes, we do have Teslas, we've got some electric Porsches, like I said, a lot of brands are producing their own electric vehicle, but the majority of their brands vehicle selection are going to be petrol, if not diesel. And I think for that reason the market sector is expected to expand massively, and of course demand for charging will also increase. I think it's amazing that Chargepoint have a lot of chargers about already, and I think subsequently in the future they have set themselves up in a great place to capture a lot of that market sector. So yes, overall great brand in my opinion, great potential for the stock in the future. I definitely would consider it a buy. So yeah, price target could definitely be over 1,000 in my opinion. I would not be surprised if it did hit those type of highs in the future. So I hope that you did enjoy this quick video. If you did, please do leave a like to show your support, and do subscribe. And of course, I will bring you a Chargepoint update when there is something next to update you on. So thank you for all your time. Thank you for all the support so far, guys. I would appreciate it massively if we could reach 2,000 before Christmas. Guys, I just want to take a minute now to say you guys have made it an amazing year on the channel. We are flying up them subscribers. I definitely do believe we could continue this, path of growth into the new year. So yeah, overall, hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do leave that like and subscribe like I've said, and I will see you in the next one in just a bit. Thank you for your time. Goodbye for now.